online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads from over 200 countries and your #1 source in after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Uh-oh.
Oh, ha!
Really? Did you see that? Did you see that? I saw that. Blew your mind, didn't I?
Anaconda in honor of Joe Sanfelippo. Giant ass.
Oh, that's rough.
Welcome to the AfterBuzz Fall TV Preview show. We're the gang that has no name, and we're here to sort of run down some of the Fall TV previews for all the networks and cable, because we love television and we love these new shows, some of them, and we want to talk about them and sort of give you guys an idea of what's coming up this fall and what to expect from some of the hosts here at AfterBuzz and what's out there in the TV landscape, and we'll give some opinions on what we like and don't like. I'm Joe Braswell, if you do or may not remember me. I'm joined as always by the lovely Nando Velasquez.
I do remember you, and thank you very much.
Hi, good to see you
all
again.
of you guys. It's been a while. I grew a beard.
And also, yes, you did.
You know how I like a man with a beard.
That's exactly the only reason why I grew the beard.
I grew a
Thanks,
beard and
Nando.
shaved it, but
Yes.
that's
a different story.
And also,
season is
to,
young.
to his left, I'm joined by the lovely Julia Cearley.
Hello, I remember you too. All of you.
Yeah.
She also
Every
grew a
last
beard.
one of you. Do you like it? It's good, yes?
Well,
You
Subtle.
know most of all, Scarecrow.
and I'm joined also by my father, Joe Sanfelippo.
Nice to be with you guys.
Professor Flippo.
I maintain the douche level beard. This is very important.
Yeah, he actually shaved.
Like you said,
Yeah.
it's a setting. What's that setting?
You must set your trimmer to douche, and then
Yeah.
you're a douche.
You're a douche. There it is. I need to learn that one. So, thank you. You look. I mean, you guys all look great, but Joe, I mean, you really did it.
Hey, Marissa Serafini, our producer, said that I don't dress up anymore for shows, and so now I'm going to dress up again because I don't want her to be mad at me.
No, you look great, Flippo.
Thanks,
There you
Marissa
go.
Serafini.
And that's Marissa Serafini. Hello, Marissa.
Yes. Hello, Marissa.
Hello, guys. Welcome back.
And Nando's wearing. I didn't get the tie memo. Like you're in a tie. You're in a tie. Is this what we're
Well,
doing
you didn't
now?
get the
Are we doing
beard
ties
memo
now?
either, so it's all good. Yeah.
Welcome to my world.
All right. Well, we're going to break down some shows. We're going to go network by network. We got 2004 fall TV season. You know, back in my day, or back in me and Nando's day, or back in me and Nando and Joe Filippo's day.
Not my day, folks.
Don't lump me in with you
TV
guys.
Guide. TV Guide used to come out with this when TV Guide was relevant.
They probably still do.
TV Guide used to
It's
come with
not
a
relevant.
fall TV preview that was outstanding, and you would like fire this thing open, and it'd be like, NBC presents Manimal, and you'd be so excited to read about Manimal and what's going to happen and what's it about. It was my favorite. My friend Jeremy Chipman, shout out to you, Jeremy Chipman, he collects all these things, and he has like hundreds of these fall TV previews from over the years, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. So I'm very happy to be doing this. It's a realization of a lifelong dream for me to bring this to life. No one cares.
No one.
The internet's gonna. The
care.
internet just
We care.
shuts down
We care.
immediately.
Wait, was Manimal a real show?
Yes,
Manimal was a real show.
Manimal, baby.
Yeah.
We're not as old as them.
Oh,
Clearly
no.
not even
Manimal,
close.
hot show. Google Manimal, folks.
So just to be specific, though, we're definitely outlining all the new shows that people are looking
Yes.
forward to.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
not returning shows, and not, you know, we're talking about brand new shows that are premiering on these networks for the first time ever. So this is good because we don't know. We've seen some pilots, we've seen some clips, we've read a lot, so we're going to give our first opinions and let you know what we know, which is a lot about these shows. So let's start. So we have ABC. Let's start breaking this thing down. I mean, we've got all these networks here. ABC. Are we going ABC first or NBC? What are we doing?
ABC
I'm sorry.
first.
So,
Yeah.
So ABC's got a lot of content. ABC's been in the crapper. I'm not going to. It's no secret. ABC's kind of been in the crapper. They've been a lot of shows sticking to the wall. They cancel a lot of shows. They bring a lot of shows on, with the exception of the Shonda Rhimes, juggernaut of Scandal and Grey's Anatomy and Modern Family. They're kind of struggling in the comedy department. So they're launching a lot of shows, and it looks like we'll see if some things stick or not. They've got some comedies. They've got Selfie. They got something called Manhattan Love Story. They got Blackish. They've got Christella, and a couple of dramas. They've got Forever and How to Get Away with Murder. So let's run through these a little bit. I want to talk about first. I want to talk about Blackish and Christella. Blackish is a show starring Anthony Anderson and Lawrence Fishburne and Tracy Ross, and it is, for me, looks fantastic. I thought I was really sort of skittish about it. I'm like, I don't know what this is. And Blackish, what essentially is it's basically tells the story of a guy who's about my age, Anthony Anderson, and his children and his father living in the same house, living in pretty much a suburban world, and sort of realizing their place as African Americans in a sort of in 2014, a sort of modern family, if you will, of black folks. And it's this really sort of this story about the generational shift between what Anthony Anderson's kids think and what his father thinks. And it's freaking hilarious. I think it's very, very smart, very well done. It's got, Larry Wilmore is one of the EPs, and he's fantastic. And the clips I saw, I laughed my ass off. So I don't know if did you get a chance to see any clips, Nando?
Yeah, no, I love it. I love Anthony Anderson in this. I love our man from Hannibal, Lawrence Fishburne, who's a co-executive producer in this.
Sure.
And really, one thing we should make clear, I think, with ABC is ABC's always really, really good at doing at just reaching out to a more diverse audience with their sitcoms. I mean, we've seen it
putting
before.
black people on TV.
Not just black people.
Yes.
But it's about diversity for
Yes,
sure. But
for
I mean,
sure,
in this case, yes, they're bringing black people to TV. Yes, for this particular show, or blackish people. As the title says.
It's just really, I really like this. This is really smart and funny, and it's in the vein of sort of Modern Family, and it's paired with Modern Family, which is great.
Yeah, it's on right after Modern Family, so it's going to have a really good lead.
Nice lead, yeah.
Yeah, nice lead. And if you're a comedy, I think that's probably the show you'd want to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So also, and there's just a lot of funny stuff in there. So and also this Christella, which is also
another diverse show.
Another comedy. This is actually
no black people in it, as far as I know. Not just black people.
Latinos.
Yeah.
It's Christella who's hilarious. Who's a stand-up comedian, and it's her show. Now, this is more of a three-cam, it's a traditional sort of sitcom, whereas Blackish is sort of a single-camera situation like Modern Family. This Christella is more of a sitcom feel, and it's also very funny and very interesting. It's very great to see like a woman lead in a show, but also a Latino woman lead. And it kind of reminds me of back the Margaret Cho All-American Girls, very much like that, which I thought was good then. And this is actually pretty funny.
There's a little bit of that George Lopez feel to it, too, I think.
Because there's Latino?
Well, because it's a feel-good comedy in the same way that George Lopez is.
Joe Braz has a chip on his shoulder for everyone and everything.
Also,
it's wonderful.
Also, because it's
I think this will be a running theme
it's
today.
It's going to be on Fridays. It's going to be on Friday.
Like Lopez?
Like Lopez.
Where the Latinos go?
Yes, Friday is Latino Day, everybody.
I'd like to point out
apparently we have a day of the week, and it's Fridays.
Christella is a woman. Do you have any thoughts on that, Joe?
Yes.
Oh.
What, you think because she's a woman she can't be funny?
Just like Margaret Cho.
No.
For her show.
No, yeah.
So Roseanne.
This looks actually really great too. But I want to get so those are some things that I saw as well. We'll get to some more. But also, Nando, ABC has something called Manhattan Love Story. What's that all about?
Well, being the New Yorker here in the crowd, I mean, I love seeing shows about New York City. And, ABC, one other thing that they seem to like to do well is they like to do those kind of like romantic comedy type shows. So this one is actually really cool. What I like about it is, in the vein of, I want to say like Look Who's Talking, in the sense that you hear what people think. Maybe John Travolta's not your voice inside, but still you get to hear what people think. So you get to hear the internal monologue of two people dating in New York as they start this relationship. And I think what I like about this, it's Annalee Tipton, who some people may know from America's Top Model. She took third place back in 2008. She's been in a bunch of shows before, but this is, I think, her first leading role. And then Jake McDorman plays the male lead. What I kind of like about this is it allows you to have the, I guess, the conversation about the sexes, what people are really thinking. It could go either way. I mean, the guy's a bit of a womanizer. The girl's just concerned about fashion and about shoes, and we've seen both those stereotypes before. But I think what's really great about it is you could be thinking one thing and saying something completely different. And so I do like the appeal of that. I think there is some room for growth for this. The executive producer, the showrunner, the writer is Jeff Lowell, who has some actual experience with comedies. He's done 2.5 Men, Just Shoot Me. He worked on Sports Night and Spin City, so some pretty capable stuff. I like the fact that he's done Sports Night, because I think this kind of I think this kind of fits into that, internal monologue, Aaron Sorkin type of thing, except for you're actually thinking it instead of saying it.
Did you laugh? Do you have high hopes for this thing?
I do have high hopes. I did laugh at it. There were moments I laughed, and of course I love stories set in New York, so I think it's kind of almost like a Woody Allen-esque type feel to it too.
That's kind of what they're going for,
which I like as well.
I love Annalee Tipton. Crazy, she was great in Crazy Stupid Love. Is that the
Crazy Stupid Love?
She was so terrific in that. She got that so right. And these kind of shows to me are a little bit dangerous because I think the writing has to be just right. Because if you go too far to one side or the other, it comes off as sexist, and there's a lack of nuance sometimes. So, I mean, if they can walk the line, I think it's gonna be a great show.
Yeah. And also, it's premiering Tuesday nights at 8:30 on September 30th. Just FYI.
Julie, do you have anything? Do you have on the show at all? Did you check it out at all?
I did check it out. I thought the little preview that they showed us that we were able to see, I thought it was a fresh idea. I thought it was really interesting and cute, well shot. I also love Annalee Tipton. I think she's freaking adorable.
She's adorable.
She's adorable so much it kind of hurts.
Yeah.
It might get annoying after a while. She's that adorable.
I gotta tell you, I'm already bored.
Yeah.
I'm out. Sorry, America. But I'm sure it's
well,
great.
Joe doesn't like love.
It's not. I don't
doesn't like love.
It's well documented.
Joe did not have summer love.
But let's move on. So, also on ABC, that's something I am excited about is How to Get Away with Murder. Now, this is the new Shonda Rhimes thing. That Shonda is basically single-handedly saved ABC and now continues to do so. They've given her own Shonda night. She's got Grey's Anatomy, she's got
Shonda
Scandal,
night.
and now she's got How to Get Away with Murder. This is highly anticipated because it stars Academy Award nominee Viola Davis, who I love and who we were talking about earlier, who we love. And the pilot looks, it looks fantastic. And I was late on Scandal. I was like, yeah, whatever. I wasn't into Grey's Anatomy. I thought Grey's Anatomy was kind of unwatchable. I just was like, just for me, I'm like, I'm a dude. I don't know. Grey's Anatomy felt very female driven. Scandal, I was out and I feel like I missed the boat on that. This one, I'm in early. From day one, I'm going to watch this thing and write it out, and I hope it's good. I'm really excited.
Well, you're not the only one. I think this is probably one of the most contested shows for the year, for the new year. Anticipated, not contested, but anticipated. Wrong SAT word.
Sure.
So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, Shonda Rhimes, she has a major credibility with what she's done, and with Scandal, like I said, I think a few people kind of jumped on that wagon late. It's definitely one of the shows to binge watch, because Scandal's amazing, and I think for that reason, I think there are a lot of people kind of in the same camp as you, Joe, that really want to keep an eye on this show because they want to be on the ground floor.
Yeah,
And, I absolutely. I was going to say that exact thing. I want to be on the ground floor of this one. Shonda Rhimes, whom I love. I'm a big Grey's Anatomy fan, and I did come late to that as well. And I binge watched it when I was sick one day, and then I was just completely addicted. And I know people had the same reaction.
A little soapy for me.
Yeah, nothing's wrong with a little soapy.
Right.
But with
a little sudsy.
But with Shonda's track record coupled with the powerhouse that is Viola Davis, I think this will be unstoppable.
Yeah, it looks
she is fantastic. A force to be
reckoned with. And even here at AfterBuzz, I hear that's one of the biggest shows to be on right now.
Viola
Davis. Fighting to be on it. Yeah.
She's a stone cold killer, man.
Oh, she's as good as it gets.
So I'm very, very highly. So hopefully it lives up to everything. And again, it's got to port out. Shonda Rhimes, a female showrunner, African American showrunner, has two shows with two female African American leads on one network. That's unprecedented. It has been done forever and ever. So this is there's a lot of things happening. This is some history happening here, and the shows are good. Hopefully, so we'll see. Julia, tell me about this selfie thing. What's my man John Cho doing over there?
Oh yeah. I love me my John show. So Selfie, that's premiering on Tuesday, September 30th on ABC at 8. So this one, it's an interesting take, loosely adapted from My Fair Lady or Pygmalion, considering this is not the musical. So this will be Oscar Wilde's Pygmalion. But instead of London, this is set in modern digital age, and so it's telling the story of Eliza Dooley. Eliza Doolittle.
I like what they did there.
I'm sorry, Marissa. Can we get? It's kind of hot. Is there some air conditioning here?
Woo!
I feel like we're
of course.
on. It feels like we're in hell. It's very warm. The lights are going. Anyway, I'm sorry. So
that's okay.
Eliza Dooley.
So Eliza Dooley is what they call Insta famous. So she has hundreds of thousands of followers on her social media.
Yes.
But then she realizes that being, as they say, friended on social media is not the same as having actual friends. So she enlists John Cho, whose character is called Henry Higginbottom, Henry Higgins, Boo. Who is like a self-image marketing genius. So she enlists him to help her rebrand and sort of get back in touch with reality. And it looks like it's something of a battle, but it looks really colorful and poppy and fast-paced. I think it's actually an interesting and relevant idea, as we are a society that are completely addicted to our phones. And we've lost that personal touch. And so I think that'll be an interesting thing to explore. And if you know anything of the story of Pygmalion or My Fair Lady, there's a slew of characters that can pop up in different ways. Yeah. So I think that would be really cool.
I think it's an interesting idea. It does feel just the log line premise feels a little hacky. Like, you know, the whole My Fair Lady, and it's Henry Higgins and Eliza Dooley and the Higginbottom and the whole, I'm already rolling my eyes, so I really hope the execution is good, but I just, already
the writer of this is Emily Kapnick, who writes for Suburgatory, which I'm a huge fan of. Yes. So she's really quick and she's really witty, and I'm hoping that will come across in the show as well.
Not for anything, but I mean, we grew up with My Fair Lady as something we could watch, but the newer generation, they have no idea what this is. I mean, for them, it's something they'll Google and they'll look at, they're like, all right, well, I don't know what the heck that is. But that'll be the beginning, middle, and end of it. So I mean, it might be a little bit of a hook for some of us, but I don't think it's going to matter for the younger folks.
The rain in Maine,
the rain in Spain
stays mainly on the plane.
There we go. Absolutely. So I think
I can sing the whole thing.
I love Karen Gillan. I mean, for anyone into Doctor Who knows Amy Pond. It's not really a comedy, but there are comedic elements, and I think she plays Amy Pond perfectly when she was on that show. She was also on the hit Guardians of the Galaxy movie. She was Nebula, very blue in that movie. She is a phenomenal actress, really funny. It's just can't help being drawn to her. My only question with this show is the chemistry between her and John Cho. I mean, obviously in the pilot you can't really see it. It's apparent that they're probably going to get together at some point, or at least there's going to be that sexual tension. I don't see it right now. That's the only thing, and maybe that's a good play as far as how she plays it, or even how he plays it. They both play as loners. She's just so self-absorbed into her technology and just getting more friends on Facebook than actually real friends. And John Cho is just this determined, kind of nerdy guy who keeps to himself and doesn't really bond with people either, but has more etiquette skills at least than Karen Gillan's character does. So I'm waiting to see on that. But I love both actors. I'm just questioning the chemistry in the pilot.
I love them too, and I hope that chemistry builds as it does in, Pygmalion or My Fair Lady. It's a rocky start in the beginning, and it's not just him building a new persona for her, it's her sort of breaking down his walls as well. So maybe they're going to start stone cold like this and work their way towards each other.
The idea in My Fair Lady and Pygmalion, they're both dysfunctional either way. Eliza Doolittle is just Henry Higgins is just as dysfunctional as Eliza Doolittle in just a completely different way.
Yeah.
I will say that it is going so hot. It is going against some doozies though. It's going against NCIS, The Voice, Flash, so that could be because of death.
I think, but it's also some counter programming that's happening there too.
Yeah,
and obviously the people who are watching Eliza Doolittle and
Dooley
and Henry
Higginbottom.
So I will check it out, but I'm a little eye rolly on the whole thing. But
I'm gonna give it a shot. Give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot. I'm just gonna give everything a shot. Flippo, tell me about Forever. I'm also, tell me what's going on with this show.
Forever is a story about Dr. Henry Morgan. He is a New York City star medical examiner, but he's a secret. Of course, who else would he be?
Sorry.
The problem with Henry Morgan is that he doesn't die. He can't. He's a 200-year-old man. He cannot be killed. So it's given him this remarkable observation skills that impresses his new partner, Detective Joe Martinez, who is played by Alana De La Garza, and of course Dr. Henry Morgan is played by Ian Gruffin. So basically, each week, a new case, their budding friendship. They're going to reveal layers of Henry's long and colorful past, and only his best friend and confidant, Abe, played by Mr. Judd Hirsch. They know Henry's secret. Basically, this is a guy who can't be killed, solving cases sometimes by being killed over and over again. And it looks like as he gets killed, we get glimpses into his past life, into some of the things he's seen. Which for me, as a nerd, I enjoy a period piece like a Maniac, and so I get the best of both worlds. I get a modern show, and I get period piece stuff thrown in.
Sure.
So I think it's a good look. The executive producer is Matt Miller from Chuck in Las Vegas. Dan Lin was actually in on the development, and he's one of the executive producers. Sherlock Holmes, Gangster Squad, he was with Warner Brothers for a long time.
Okay.
And Jennifer Gortz, and that's Veronica Mars, Cupid, Party Down. So I mean, it's
a great team. It's
yeah,
a great
it's got
creative
some real
team
good
behind
people
it.
at the top.
I'm really interested. I'm like, I'm just interested just because of the team. I'd like to see what they do with the premise. That seems a little tired to me, but. I don't know. I like it's a new twist on this premise.
And Dan Lin doing television, so it's got to be something interesting.
Yeah,
he's not going to jump over to TV for because
yeah,
I mean, it's got to be some sort of it's got to be something going on.
So we'll see. So that does it for ABC. I mean, we'll hopefully this will get them sort of out of the crapper, the comedy. They have some strong offerings here.
I'm really curious to see how many times they can kill this late character though forever though.
Well,
how many ways to
forever.
die? Forever and ever.
Yeah.
They're going to start killing him on September 23rd. So
exactly.
That's when it begins.
I've already got all the jokes. If God forbid it gets canceled, you already have the forever jokes coming.
No question.
Forever.
Oh boy.
Anyway, so let's move over to the I. Let's move over to CBS because CBS is the opposite of ABC. Unfortunately, CBS is a beast. These guys can't be stopped. Whatever they touch turns to gold. And people talk a lot. There's a lot being said about CBS and all their procedurals and all their stuff, but they're really killing it with the comedies. Their comedies are freaking giant hits. They've been hits for about 10 or 12 years.
Well, I think the thing with CBS is they know what they're good at. And they hammer it. They hammer it like crazy.
Well, sure, the procedurals and all the CISs.
Yeah,
and
the comedies, the multicam, the multicam comedies too. I mean, there was a time where people just felt like the NBC Must See TV type schedule with the one camera comedies were the way to go. But CBS has proven them wrong.
I mean, everyone loves Raymond's one of the biggest shows of all time. King of Queens, one of the biggest shows of all time. 2.5 Men. Now Big Bang Theory. Now Mike and Molly. So they're doing it.
Yeah.
So that being said, they really don't have. They're only coming out with one comedy because they're like comedies like we're good, but they got 4 new dramas and one comedy. They got a couple, of course. They're all kind of procedural ish. But the comedy have something called the McCarthys, and dramas they have something called Scorpion, and of course, a big shocker, another NCIS spinoff called NCIS New Orleans, Madam Secretary, and Stalker. Let's get into these. I just want to really touch on NCIS New Orleans because they actually premiered the crossover was last night. If you watch NCIS, they go to New Orleans and they do the crossover and they meet the new gang, which includes Scott Bakula and CCH Pounder and some others. And look, there's no chance that this show is not going to be a monster hit. All these things are monster hits. People love these NCIS procedurals. And it's really, and for those who don't know, it's the Naval Crime Investigation Service, I think is what it is.
I believe you're right. Yes.
And so it's all sort of based around this sort of Navy unit, which is spun off from JAG, which is kind of spun off from A Few Good Men, that sort of thing. But so yeah, it's really interesting that they're able to sort of find a place with a port. And and I guess there really is a giant NCIS office in New Orleans, and they were talking about it like we should do a sweeps episode. We should go down there, and then of course Mark Harmon's like, this is actually a show. So sure enough, they pitched it and they're doing a show. And it looks for me. I mean, it's not my thing. Like I get it, and everyone's got the Southern drawl, and everyone's talking about crawdads and. And gumbo,
crawfish,
little crawfish and gumbo down here.
Etouffee,
etouffee,
my favorite.
And that dead body looks like an etouffee. I'm like, ugh. But it's gonna be a hit. So there's that. I don't know. We don't have to. We can.
Angry. I don't know why you're angry. It's gonna be a hit. Scott Bakula's great. NCIS is great.
And I love and CCH Pounder, and it's got Zoe McClain. It's got Lucas Black. It's got a great cast. It's got great pedigree.
Would you give him a smile? It's a nice place. New
Good
Orleans,
for them,
something terrible.
Look, at least find a dead body.
At least there are some really cool cities that NCIS or CBS procedural still haven't hit. So there goes New Orleans. When they start doing
cool city to go to.
When they start doing NCIS Oshkosh, then
that's what I was saying. I think next is Milwaukee. I think this is where we're going. There's nowhere else to go.
The naval operations in Milwaukee.
Oh yeah, it's a dead body there. Look at that. Oh gosh.
But is the Navy in Milwaukee or the no?
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna run out of cities eventually. They're gonna wind up in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
So you know what? That's that. I'm sorry. It's going to be a hit. It looks fantastic. It's not for me.
Fresno.
Move on. But what is for me though, the big thing that I know, Joe, you're not upset about that I'm going to talk about is Madam Secretary with my girl Tay Leone. You know, I got a crush on that Tay Leone.
I'm not gonna lie to you. She came in here right now and she said, "You got a 20% chance." I'm like, I'm in.
You know, Vera Farmiga's very pissed at you right now.
I know. Total betrayal.
Yeah, Taylor. I mean, like, so this looks fantastic. This is it's a kind of like a Good Wifey, more along the lines of The Good Wife meets. It's a different kind of procedural. It's kind of a West Wing meets Good Wife, right? And sort of that sort of thing. It's a strong female lead, ex-CIA analyst, sort of retired, doing her thing, who gets called up. This is not a spoiler in the pilot. Gets called up by a weird sort of set of circumstances. Gets asked by the president to be the Secretary of State. A little bit of Hillary Clinton in there. A little bit of some other stuff there.
Valerie Plume, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. A little Valerie Plume, and I think it's very interesting the way they do these because they have high stakes because we're talking about the CIA. We're talking about the Secretary of State, but it's got that West Wing vibe, and it's also got some personal stuff here. She's got a family. She's a mom, and it's right up CBS. Just a right down the middle for CBS.
Well, I hear you.
Out of the park.
I hear you. It has a ring to it, kind of like The Good Wife. I definitely feel that, and Good Wife has been critically acclaimed as the best show on TV right now. Yeah. So I can totally see CBS trying to emulate it with another show. It makes complete sense. Tay Leone, I feel like it's been forever since she's been on TV, but everyone loves her. Besides the people in this room,
loves a lot.
Everybody loves Tay Leone.
What do you think of this, Jules?
I am so 100% in on this show. The second I saw the trailer, I hate to jump on the bandwagon, but I too love me some Tay Leone. And I like the balancing act that they're sort of portraying on her of being a family woman who stepped down from Washington, but is called back in, and now she has to, balance these two worlds.
Sure.
And I'm sure she'll do it with panache and grace.
There's a thing that can happen, and it's only a woman can really pull it off, and only a very, very specific, impressive, incredible, like that scene on the that walkway with the student who's complaining. He's complaining about, I need more time, and she does that. I've got this babysitter and this thing at the house, and she goes, oh God, were we not doing the thing where we tell each other about our problems?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She does that in such a way that you're just like, that is an amazing lady. There's something so specific and so impressive, and I am so excited about this show.
And I think it's important to note it's going to be Sunday nights at 8. It's actually not going to have a lead into The Good Wife, but it's right before The Good Wife. And as far as what it's up against, pretty much it's perfect. NBC does Sunday Night Football. Fox has its Simpsons and Brooklyn 911. I mean, the only real competition is probably Once Upon a Time, but it's a completely different kind of show.
But it's up against the giants.
And the cable shows.
The cable Sunday Night. Sunday Night is owned by HBO and Showtime.
Those are going to be the big ones. But as far as against the broadcast networks, it's on at a good time slot. So.
Yeah, until Game of Thrones comes back, and then we'll see. We're all in trouble. And True Detective and everything else. But okay, so we love that. Julia, you have the one CBS comedy you have.
I have the one comedy. I have the McCarthys.
Yeah, like what's going on there?
So that premieres on Thursday, October 30th at 9:30.
It looks hilarious.
Right before Halloween.
You stumped me. It might be hilarious, and I just didn't.
It's got Joey McIntyre from...
The cast is phenomenal. Look, we got Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block. We have Laurie Metcalf. I don't know his name. But we have Tyler Ritter, who is fabulous, the son of John Ritter. Laurie Metcalf is hilarious in everything she does.
What's the father's name again?
Jack McGee.
Oh, my God. I love him from Rescue Me.
Yes, he's terrific.
So awesome.
What's the premise here?
Oh, I'm so sorry. So the premise is a story about a gay son played by Tyler Ritter. And he's part of a very stereotypical, extremely tight-knit, sports-crazed Irish Boston clan. And he decides that he needs to break free, he needs to fly the coop, and he gets his job opportunity. And he tells them, and they do not...
In Rhode Island.
In Rhode Island.
Which is not a real state.
Yes, that was actually pretty funny. That was funny. So the family sort of suckers him into staying. Is pretty much the premise of it.
Got it.
So it's created by Brian Gallivan, who you might know from Are You There, Chelsea?
Sure.
Sassy Gay Friend, which was hysterical.
Sassy Gay Friend, amazing.
Absolutely phenomenal. And he's calling this actually somewhat semi-autobiographical.
Okay.
This is actually the second pass of trying to get this on the air.
Okay.
They did the pilot last season, and the executives said it was too dark. They shot it one camera style, and they just thought it was too dark. So they sort of changed the the way they were shooting it, multi-cameras in front of a studio audience, just to sort of brighten it up. What did he say? I have it somewhere. He says, when talking about it being too dark, Gallivan was quoted saying, "Because my family expresses love through insulting each other and being hateful."
That's a very East Coast family.
Very East Coast.
Very East Coast, very Boston.
I must tell you, I'm half Irish, half Italian, and my mother's side is Irish, and that is how we express love.
I've been to Sanfelippo dinners before.
Oh,
I gotta say though, Joey McIntyre is looking out like the standout here.
Yeah.
Every scene that he was in on just that clip that I did see, he was hysterical.
I mean, he's actually hanging tough.
Oh.
All right. So
Wow.
I don't know what,
What
was worse,
happened there?
that or your reaction
What
was
just
worse.
happened?
I don't know what was worse.
all right, let's
Can
move
I
on.
just say,
So-
Before you move on,
Yes,
I just want to say Brian Gallivan. I actually know the guy. If you follow comedy here in Los Angeles and go to any of the theaters like UCB, IO West, Second City, he's been and Groundlings. He's been a mainstay on all of them. Very, very brilliant guy. And Sassy Gay Friend, can't say enough good things about that. Yeah, really
can't
good.
really check that out.
I really am optimistic about this show. I mean, other than the pilot, I really think, CBS comedies for me in the past, I've always been not expecting much out of them, but I refuse to eliminate this one, from contention, because I think it's going to be really awesome.
They've got like I said, they got a great pedigree.
Yeah.
They've got hits in comedy. So we'll see. Flippo, tell me about this stalker business.
Let's
with
talk
my
about Stalker.
My man Dylan McDermott.
Not your personal life, just about the show.
Oh,
yeah.
My man
There's a show?
Dylan, who I love from The Practice, and he gets a lot of at bats. Man, he's got a lot of at bats lately.
You know why?
TNT, and he was back last year with
Hostages.
Hostages,
Yeah.
and
I'll tell you why. The
Why?
man, he has presence, and he has range, and I think that's a huge
is
thing.
this a fellow dark hair, like half douchey beard thing you're doing
Whoa,
with him?
whoa.
You said douchey beard. You said your beard is set to douche.
Okay.
Somehow, when you say it, it seems mean.
Like,
So, all right, here's what Stalker's all about. This is from our friend Kevin Williamson. Those of you who don't remember, Dawson's Creek, Vampire Diaries.
he does a show with Kevin Bacon.
More importantly, maybe Scream 2, Scream 4, maybe the following. Kevin Williamson, I think, is responsible for more people losing sleep than anyone else on the planet, and he's probably on television or film murdered more co-eds than anyone else ever.
Yes.
And Stalker looks like it's going to be no exception. The whole thing starts out with the brutal murder of a co-ed. So here's what this show is about. This follows Maggie Q and Dylan McDermott. They are in the LAPD Stalker unit, which I didn't know was a thing, but apparently it's a thing. Dylan McDermott.
Is it a real thing?
I don't know if it's a real
Should be
thing.
a thing.
It should be a thing.
The stalker unit.
Well, I can't. It's for
I
the
feel
threat
like-
assessment unit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which
We'll
seems to
check
be
with
the,
Jamie J on that.
There
We'll
seem to
ask
be
him.
more and more cases about stalkers and
Yeah.
restraining orders and all that stuff. I can imagine they actually have a division.
If
for
there's
that.
not a threat assessment unit, there ought to be one.
Yeah.
Dylan McDermott's character did not apparently know that this existed either. He has a
Right.
very casual, nonchalant approach to this. Maggie Q, on the other hand, her character has been a victim of stalking at some point in the past. We're given the impression that something went down. We don't know specifically what, but she has obviously reacted very, very strongly. So she goes a little bit rogue every now and again, and so that's what this is going to follow. This is going to be. It looks like it's going to be a serial, basically following stalkers. So
I think the AfterBuzz show should be a guy with a hood and a girl, and
Yeah.
the guy just staring at the girl like, the whole time when he's talking.
Well, I mean, I
That should
don't
be
know.
whole
The
AfterBuzz
bus
show.
backs are all over town, and it's just like the hood, and
Yes.
it says stalker, and I'm like, what's the show?
That is creepy. There does seem to be a very thriller-esque attitude, like almost a movie thriller type of feel
sure.
to it. So that
Yeah.
looks very optimistic to me in that
Sure.
sense.
All right.
Lots of cringeworthy moments, lots of moments where you're like, you
I
don't
was-
want to watch a show with the lights out, maybe.
Yeah, I thought the trailer was quite upsetting actually at
Yeah.
times. Really quite
I've
unsettling.
got 2 daughters. I didn't care for it at all.
No, guy coming out from under the carpet.
No, it's
No.
horrible. Yeah,
No.
That
And
last
it's in that mirror shot, which is always the worst, because you know if they're shooting into a mirror, something terrible is going to happen, and then you see the hands kind of creep out from under the gun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're very familiar with Kevin's work, and it looks great.
It does look good.
So we'll see.
And like I said, he's probably murdered more co-eds on camera than anyone else in history. I'd be curious what the actual number is.
And that's
see.
on Wednesday nights, right? Wednesday nights at
Yeah,
10.
and it premieres October 1.
October
Great.
1st. So,
Awesome.
now, Nano, tell me about this Scorpion. This is another sort of, is this like a weird another procedural
so,
thing?
yeah, it is a procedural. It's really funny because I think the pitch really was, okay, we love Big Bang Theory. We do great with Big Bang Theory. What if we put them in a procedural? Because that's really what it is. Exactly. What if we put the cast from Big Bang Theory into a procedural? Because it's pretty much just a bunch of incredibly...
More enemies for Sheldon.
Yeah, exactly. More enemies for Sheldon. We go against Sheldon's enemies every single week. That would be awesome.
I'll say more Emmys for Sheldon.
Oh, more Emmys, too. Well, I meant the idea is more enemies. But yeah, pretty much what it is, it's this group of incredibly smart intellectual people, all with certain neuroses, like one person, and Catherine McPhee, who is the pretty girl,
the cherry on top of any show.
Yeah, of course, she's the pretty girl who is, who the lead is, of course, is attracted to, and even like her and Kaylee Cuoco, they're both waitresses in their shows. So it goes to show you.
So the women can't be geniuses. Well, is what they're saying.
I'm not saying the women can't. No, I'm just saying that
show. Like both Big Bang Theory is about the 4 smart guys and the waitress. This is about the
super smart.
Sorry, team of geniuses.
Yes, absolutely. Team of geniuses, as you do a genius move here.
No, they have a super smart hot chick who does all the mechanical stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not just smart guys and then a hot girl. Uh-oh. Okay. So anyway, I actually think this is going to be a really, really good show. I mean, the big notable names are probably Robert Patrick, who is going to be like the boss of this group. He gets them together. The FBI gets them together to do cases. The pilot, they're actually trying to stop a terrorist attack on LAX.
Is his name Scorpion? Is he Fred Scorpion?
No, he's not Scorpion. That's just a name. That's just the name of the unit. Yeah, okay, absolutely, the unit. So and Catherine McPhee's adorable. I mean, people who know her from American Idol, also from Smash. So she's adorable, and I really have high hopes. It's mainly an ensemble cast. The lead guy, if I could say his name right, is Elias Gabel. And so he's the lead guy. He's the romantic love interest for Catherine McPhee. The EP, Nick Santora, has a really great resume. He's done Vegas, Breakout Kings, Lie to Me, which is fabulous on Fox, Prison Break, which was awesome. I loved Prison Break. So this guy definitely knows action. Yeah. It's going to be Monday nights, I believe, at 10 p.m. So it's a good time. It's a very competitive time slot. And I think that goes to show that CBS has a lot of faith in it, too.
Is this as I call?
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. It's at 9 o'clock on Monday nights, but still, it's still in a really good day, and I think it's going to do really, really well. And this is actually one of the shows I'm looking forward to, so much so that I'm doing the AfterBuzz for that one.
Oh, the after show! Look at you, Nando.
I'm calling it. I'm doing it.
Breaking away. From us now. Is this more actiony? Is this more procedural, or what's the? Based
on the pilot right now, I think it's even the actiony stuff on CBS is procedural. So I mean, you're pretty much saying it's procedural. Sure. There definitely will be some action to it, but the people, obviously the nerds, if you want to call them nerds, they are not that athletic necessarily. Sure. So it's definitely more of a numbers type of show where I think it's going to be a lot of brain smarts involved. So,
those brain smarts.
Those brain smarts, as opposed to other kind of smarts.
Those brain smarts.
Those brain smarts.
Buckle up.
Buckle up, brain smarts.
And that one premieres, I believe, Monday, September, I want to say 21st, if I got it right around there.
Right.
In the early 20s.
Well, good. Well, so CBS, it looks like CBS has got some good stuff going on. I think that we liked most everything we saw there, so there's some high hopes there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to Fox. Fox didn't do half bad last year. They had some good... they had a lot of good shows that I liked that didn't make it. Like, I really liked the show I can't remember the name of. The Almost Human. I like that, but that didn't make it. Sleepy Hollow was a surprise hit for Fox, and that was really great. And they've got some stuff going on. So they've got some interesting shows. They've got one comedy, which is highly anticipated, Mulaney, which we'll talk about shortly. And then they've got a reality show called Utopia. And then they've got something called The Red Band Society, Gotham, and Grace Point, all dramas.
Those are some heavy-hitting dramas coming out there.
Oh yeah,
this is serious business.
Well, Fox is the opposite of Fox is sort of known for their comedies and their animation, so they're really trying to put their make their mark back in the drama world. So they've got rolling out some very serious dramas here. We'll talk about them. Before we talk about that, we should talk about their comedy, Mulaney, which is I think we're all very excited about this.
Yeah.
And so John Mulaney is a guy. He was he used to be a writer on Saturday Night Live, and he was sort of he's like this kind of Conan O'Brien guy who also was a writer on SNL and a writer on The Simpsons. Conan was, and it's this guy who you've never heard of or never seen, but it's like everyone who works with him says he's the funniest, most brilliant guy ever.
You've been laughing at his stuff for years. You just don't know that he wrote it.
Just like Conan O'Brien was 20 years ago.
Well, even before he was on SNL, he was actually one of the talking heads for Best Week Ever. Right. So that's where people got to see him.
People kind of they know him as a persona there.
Yes.
But as a writer, what they found out there, and then it's just very similar to Conan O'Brien, how Lorne Michaels, who's a genius, has had the foresight to say, you know what, I think Conan would be great at late night, and everyone's like, this kid, he's a writer, and then cut to 20 years later we have Conan O'Brien. Same thing with Jimmy Fallon. I think Jimmy Fallon will be good at late night. Cut to now, Jimmy Fallon's the head of the Tonight Show, and he's amazing. So Lorne Michaels like, I think this kid needs his own sitcom, and everyone's like, what, this Mulaney kid? And it looks hilarious. It's got Joe's good friend and UCLA Bruin classmate Nassim Pedrad.
I love her. She's amazing.
It's got Martin Short, who looks like
who's got one Emmy, but when you put it in the mirror, it looks like
two.
He just makes me laugh and smile.
He insists upon it, like he's like, you're going to laugh. I don't care if you like it or not.
He's so funny to me. I don't know.
I agree.
And Elliot Gould, who's also great, and who I love, and the brother's name, who I can't remember.
Zach Perlman.
Huh?
Oh, the brother. Oh, the brother you met. That brother.
Yeah, he plays. His name is like. So this is.
Hold on.
Oh man, yeah, the black guy, can't remember the black guy's name.
Nice that you know Seton Smith. Seton Smith.
Seton Smith.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Seton.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother.
And then Zach Perlman, who's really good too. Yeah.
So I know we're on some. Check out the pilot, or check out the clips. It's just very funny.
It has that Seinfeld feel to it in the sense that you see him doing stand up, and then also see him in an apartment with his friends, and even like Zach Perlman's character kind of has that Kramer-esque.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, attitude when it comes in a bit. Yeah, so it's it's like Seinfeld. What if Seinfeld was a working TV writer, on a talk show, almost type of thing? So
it's so funny. That's a thing now. Like that. Seinfeld did the thing like, well, I'm gonna do stand up to start my show, and then like Louis does that too, and now Mulaney does it. It's kind of interesting that's become a thing, and people are just like, oh yeah, the stand up guy, the guy who did stand up at the beginning. Anyway, so look out for that. But other stuff on Fox is this thing Utopia. Like, it's a reality thing. I know nothing about this show. Julia, tell me what's going on.
Let me tell you about Utopia. Okay. So Utopia, it's actually based on a Dutch hit of the same name that was just like crazy hit.
The Dutch do reality better than anyone, by the way.
Well, this comes from John de Mol, who is like the Dutch media.
Yeah.
What did I say it wrong?
Yeah, said no. So his company's In de Mol.
Oh yes, yeah. He's like this media tycoon. He also is mastermind behind Big Brother, Fear Factor, Deal or No Deal. So this is his as well. So what they're doing is they're taking 15 Americans. They're taking them to this remote, isolated location with no infrastructure, nothing, just a location, and they have to build a society for a year, and they're one entire year, 52 weeks.
So it's like Survivor on steroids.
Yes, but they're calling it the ultimate reality TV because there is no prize, and they are just being watched. There's camera surveillance 24/7. You can go online to, I think it's just utopiatv.com, and you could watch it streaming. But you could also tune in on Sundays. It premieres on September 7th on Fox.
Wow.
So what they're doing is they just it's like this ultimate social experiment.
It's like Fishbowl.
So it kind of like sounds perfect to build your utopian society, but they're going to have different ideas of government, religion, commerce, gender.
How many
equality.
people again?
15.
15.
But you have to prove yourself as indispensable to the society as they build the society up.
Or they kill you.
If not, then they kill you.
Or
they exile you, and they bring in someone else. So they're consistently casting this as well.
So it stays 15 no matter what.
Yes, no matter what. There's no prize to be won. There's no one who's going to come up victorious at the end. It's just watching them build a society and see how they do.
Like in the past, in the Dutch shows, you're like, it's a leader emerge? Is it like a weird guy
I'm
the leader?
It depends how they want to set up any sort of government style. Yeah, they have to decide amongst themselves and agree amongst themselves. There have been some problems. One of the contestants named Hex, he's already had to be hospitalized for dehydration. Another was booted already. It hasn't even premiered yet. Another's already been booted when she was found with a snuck-in smartphone and she was trying to research the other contestants. Shady business.
Shady business. Now when do they all get naked? Because all these
That's episode 3.
All these reality shows,
like plenty of nudity.
Especially every Dutch. It comes from the Dutch.
Year.
Every other reality show is like Naked and Afraid, Naked dating.
God, I love Naked and Afraid.
I know, it's a great show. All right.
This kind of reminds me a little bit of Kids Nation on CBS when they had like a bunch of kids and they started their own town.
Whose idea was that? It's the worst idea ever. Let's take a bunch of 13-year-olds.
That was a crazy
leave them
one.
to their own devices and start a town.
That was a
Kill
crazy.
the
For some
pigs,
reason, I
spill
kind
its
of think
blood.
of that. I kind of think of that show a little. This is obviously looks a lot more grander than that one was,
Sure.
but still very interesting.
It looks interesting,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
it's kind of interactive. You go online and you watch them, and I don't know if you vote. I'm not sure. I'm sure you vote.
And I believe it's starting this week, right? There's like a bunch,
September 7th. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Sundays.
They have a bunch of special edition episodes before it settles into its regular time slot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But then you could always watch it on utopiatv.com.
Kind of like Big Brother.
Right.
Much
Yeah.
like Big
Much
Brother.
Much like Big Brother.
It's
Thank you, John
very-
DeMol.
It's wow, interesting.
There you go, Utopia, guys.
All right. Well, I'll check that out. Then
Give it a whirl.
alternate universe.
I was going to say, I do not suspect he has any intention of checking this out.
Sound like, let me know how it
Way
works
to promote
out.
the show.
I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Set your DVR.
I'll give that a whirl.
What's this Grace Point?
Grace Point is kind of a unique offering this season. It is it's a Fox show that is going to be basically it's a 10-episode mystery event. It's
Yep.
not. It's basically a novella. It's based on the British show called Broadchurch.
Yeah, Broadchurch.
And it's the same creator, same writer. It's Chris Chibnall. And it's he brought in James Strong to direct all of them. He's from Doctor Who, Torchwood. So this is it has a very British pedigree. Basically, this is a 10-hour movie, essentially, that is following a murder in a small town and kind of peeling back the layers. We have David Tennant here from Broadchurch and Doctor Who.
And
He'll
Doctor
be playing
Who. Right.
Emmett Carver. And we have Anna Gunn from Breaking Bad.
Gunn,
Who'll be playing,
two-time Emmy Award winner.
Absolutely.
Three-time Emmy winner. Three or two? Well,
I think
she's-
2.
Yeah.
Might be 2. I'm not sure. From Breaking Bad. They're going to be joined by Nick Nolte, who is a guy gives such an interesting vibe to it. Like it's just like a spice that you didn't expect to have in the sauce. So it basically this Ellie Miller comes back from a vacation. She's been counting on getting this big promotion. She's worked real hard for it, and it turns out that the promotion has gone to Emmett Carver, David Tennant's character, and they've just brought him in. She's never met him before. And all of a sudden, day one, she's back. Her son's best friend is found dead on the beach, and this is her very first homicide, her very first case, and basically everyone's a suspect, and we kind of peel apart the town. So I think it's based on what I've seen of it and the people involved, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting show.
Yeah, I feel like there's no chance that this is not going to be great. I mean, Broadchurch is fantastic. Was fantastic. If you haven't seen Broadchurch, check that out. And I think that usually we talk about these adaptations. You take in a British thing and bring it over to here, but this is all the same folks. So it'll be interesting to see how they adapt it here. I'm really
Well, I think this is definitely going to be, in my opinion, the event of the fall as far as what show to watch. I think this is going to be a phenomenal show. It's got a great pedigree. Again, David Tennant, he's a phenomenal actor.
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
great.
I mean, a lot of people would know him from Doctor Who. He's the second Doctor Who actor who was doing a show here in the fall. Karen Gillan from Selfie being the other one. Anna Gunn, coming off of Breaking Bad, it's great for her. There's definitely that. It's not as creepy as Twin Peaks, but there's that little bit of that Twin Peaks type vibe.
Yeah.
Maybe even a little bit of like the success of True Detective. I kind of see this show kind of going somewhere in that
Similar
direction too. Similar vein. There's just so much good about this show, and even for those people who have seen Broadchurch, they, I know some people have issues with BBC shows being readapted to look more American, but they did change the ending, so no one really knows what the ending is.
So no one knows where this is going to go, and it's
Yeah.
been expanded dramatically. That's the idea. We got a lot more characters. We got a lot more scope.
Right.
So if you were into Broadchurch, this should not bother you. This should not theoretically throw you off.
Right.
And you were talking about Emmett
it's actually
Carver.
a bit of a companion piece in
Yeah,
some
that's
ways.
the idea.
It's
Is that
not
you should be able
exactly
to
like
expand from the original.
Right.
I have a pet peeve about British actors playing American. It really bugs the heck out of me. And I'm watching the show, the trailers, and I'm looking at David Tennant. I'm going, God, I don't know him, but he's too good for me not to know. He's got to be British. And then when I did my dive, and I was like, oh, of course.
There he is.
So the wonderful thing I think about what True Detective and now with Grace Point is there's such a freedom to the writers. They do not have to bring the characters back next season. We can kill anybody we want. It doesn't matter if the audience has a favorite. I'm not contractually obligated to make sure this person makes it.
Well, this is a new thing. This is where you can track all these great, feature writers and feature directors. Obviously, like Steven Soderbergh with The Nick is
incredible.
That's an incredible show that we won't touch on because it's happening now. But like, man, The Nick and and we talked about True Detective with Pizzolatto, and so this is kind of the new thing. You take, you get 8 episodes or 10 episodes. Fargo's another one.
Yeah.
You know, you get like a 10-hour movie, and it's fun stuff. So, looking forward to this one very much.
What is it about an idyllic seaside town that is just so freaking creepy?
Scary. Not so idyllic ever.
Not so idyllic. They all move there for a purpose.
So
Don't know what.
So Fox has this other thing called the Red Band Society, which has been just buzzed on like crazy. Nando, what's going on with this show?
This is, I mean, it's been called like the Breakfast Club. You know, in a children's hospital, and it makes a lot of sense. A lot of kids who end up not having similar backgrounds, they end up meeting up in a hospital where they're forced to be there. It's kind of like their version of detention, and they get to interact with each other. And I think it's beautiful, and you know, it tugs on your heartstrings a little bit. You see these kids. The narrator is in a coma. He's a kid in a coma, and he's narrating the story, kind of like a Desperate Housewives type of thing with their narrator who's dead. But you know, you have the different kinds of kids. You have the jock, you got the hot girl, you've got the nerdy kid. You know, you got the introvert. You got a bunch of different types of kids, and they get to bond together over their shared circumstances. And what's appealing about this show too is the adult. You know, none of the kids are really well known, but the two adult supporting cast members are Octavia Spencer from The Help, the second another cast member from The Help, Viola Davis,
Academy Award winner,
Academy Award winning Octavia Spencer, and Dave Annabelle. So really good cast rounding out, and I think people will be drawn to this show. Fox has been doing a lot of publicity for this. They were doing a campaign for charity to try and see if they can do the reveal for the pilot earlier.
Spielberg's
online.
involved.
Spielberg's involved with this too. I mean, it's really, really, really something. And you know, I was doing the research on this because I was thinking, oh, man, it's all about kids dying. But really, a lot of the kids who go to children's hospitals, they usually recover and they get out after a certain amount of time. So we could possibly see recurring characters. We could see people going in and out. We could see new people coming in. So it's really going to be interesting to see these kids in the hospital and how they act. And I like it a lot. It kind of, without the singing, it kind of also reminds me of Glee, because Glee kind of is similar in that vein. All these kids banding
Also
together.
freaks and geeks and
you have that high school hierarchy that is sort of thrown out the window when you're thrust into certain situations.
Yeah, and I think they're definitely, it's going to tug at your heartstrings a little bit too.
Oh, it'll be a
definitely
cry
think so.
fest.
I mean,
Come on.
Cryopalooza. Yeah, that's one of the concerns is like, and I think Filippo mentioned this earlier, we were talking about this, is like, you know, the notion of we're going to watch a bunch of sick kids week after week and a bunch of dying kids week after week. Who wants to watch that? But it turns out it may be something that's very uplifting. And
I think a show like this doesn't talk about death, it celebrates life.
Oh,
that's the way I look at it.
Look at that. Did you write that log line? Did you read that? Who wrote that?
That's copyright Nando Velasquez.
Wow,
2014.
this guy.
Yes.
All right, that's impressive.
Okay.
All right, so I will. The last show on Fox is Gotham, which is
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
No,
idea. Pass.
What's it about?
Pass. Next show.
What do you got of Goth? I don't understand.
Gotham is
it about kids wearing makeup?
Yes, no. Gotham is the highly anticipated show, and we were all at Comic-Con, and we were very excited about this show. Highly anticipated show based on sort of DC comic thing based on the city, Gotham City, where Batman is from. It sort of takes place in the early days before Batman is Batman. It follows a young Commissioner Gordon. Before he's Commissioner Gordon, before he's Lieutenant Gordon, he's just James Gordon, the cop, Detective Gordon. It also deals with a young Bruce Wayne. In the pilot, you see Bruce Wayne's parents get murdered. So the thing that turns him into spoiler. He also becomes Batman. I know. Sorry.
Oh my God. You know what? Whatever. I don't have to watch it now.
Sorry. But so you see that, and the whole thing is sort of like, the friendship between Bruce Wayne and James Gordon. But it also tells the story of Gotham City. It's a full-blown cop drama procedural, except it's set in Gotham City. And you see people we know,
Penguin.
The Penguin, this is Oswald Copperpot.
Yep.
And you see Edward Nygma, who's the Riddler. You see Selena Kyle, who is Catwoman, and you see the other
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy. There's other characters like Fish Mooney, who's played by Jada Pinkett.
A lot of she's actually
brand new.
She's a new character.
She's a new character
who's like who's the villain, and also Donnell Logue, who I also love. He's in there too, playing a sort of ambiguous guy.
I believe, he was on Sons of Anarchy, and he cut his role in Sons of Anarchy got cut short so he could audition for Gotham.
And he's a guy who's also he's also had a lot of that back.
He's so good.
He's been around for a long time.
Long
He's just good.
time. This is good for him.
Yeah,
he's getting better and better and huger roles every season.
Yeah.
And I should say that Gordon is played by Benjamin McKenzie of the OC. for those fans of the OC. Like, he's back at Fox doing his thing, and 10 years later, and he looks great. And I said the pilot looks fantastic. The show looks fantastic. If you're not even a comic book fan, if you don't care about Batman, you can just sort of sit in and watch this as a cool sort of cop, drama. And that's a cool thing about it. And also,
but if you are a DC nerd, it's
got
Christmas.
plenty of Easter eggs and nuggets for us DC comic nerds. So I'm very excited about it. Obviously, Nando, you're a nerd. You're excited.
I'm cautiously optimistic about it, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything really against it other than the fact that, let's do a show about Gotham City before Batman was Batman.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that kind of gets
you. It's a tough sell.
It's a
in a lot of ways, there's a lot of pitfalls. There's a lot of danger, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a little bit of that. Like, you know that people are going to be interested because it's Batman's world, but Batman doesn't technically exist. I mean, there's a small Bruce Wayne and everyone's younger, so we get to see those aha moments. But
there's a lot of, the Riddler. And
it's going to have to be written really, really well to sustain. I think it's going to have a phenomenal debut.
But if it gets a 25-year run, it can lead right into Batman.
No problem. By that point, it'll be Dark Knight Rises or
I just
Dark
don't
Knight.
like. I don't want too many wink moments of
Yeah, but you want Easter eggs, though. You want Easter eggs.
Well, I want things that are subtle for us people who know, but I don't need any slamming you over the head moments of
So you want things where people are calling you, Braz, I didn't understand. What was that?
Yeah, and I'll say, here's the thing.
Here's the thing about what you don't know.
But anyway, I don't know, Julie, have you any interest in this? I know your husband might be interested in this.
Mr. Cearley,
out of the house if I had no interest in this.
For those of you who don't know, Eric Cearley might be the biggest Batman nerd in the history of Batman nerds.
Exactly.
If you know a Batman nerd, he's not as big a Batman nerd, I promise.
Yeah. So
it's really.
So you'll be watching this whether you like it or not.
Whether I
and this will be
September or not.
This will be September 22nd.
It's
Monday,
coming
September 22nd.
It is interesting to me. I am curious psychologically what the damage that has been done to the American psyche by watching Bruce Wayne's parents get murdered over and over and over again.
I mean,
we've probably witnessed that.
Maybe
more
one
than,
of these days we'll have a different outcome.
Every time,
it's like
anytime I
Day.
see parents in an alleyway that just coming out of the theater, I'm like, they're gonna get whacked. There's no questions. They're gonna get whacked. That kid's gonna grow up to be a bat.
So last but not least, let's go over to NBC. NBC also the much maligned, but they're actually on the. They're
but
on
they
the way
were
back.
the number one. They were the number one watched network last season.
They're on the way back.
That. Yeah,
and The Voice and The Blacklist.
And they had the number one new show in The Blacklist. They touted that one
The
too.
Voice is
I've seen The Blacklist.
Have you heard of that one?
Good.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't know what it's about.
I don't know. Lizzie.
That explains
Lizzie.
a lot during the show.
But they've got some stuff. So so NBC actually has the most balanced slate because they need everything, right? So
I'll take a little bit.
They've got some comedies. But they've got something called "Marry Me" in the comedies, and "Bad Judge" and A to Z, and then they've got dramas. They got something called "State of Affairs," which I know Joe is very excited about, and "Mysteries of Laura," Constantine, Aquarius, and Emerald City, which was a sort of a dark Wizard of Oz thing, which is now they just nixed that. So Emerald City's out.
Didn't even make the cut.
Well, it made the cut. They were developing it. It was coming out for as a mid-series replacement. And somewhere along production, they were like, "Nah, Wizard of Oz, we're out of here." So it may or may not show up somewhere else. Yeah. But you know, it's kind of like the dark drama about Oz. You think Gotham is bad? How about the dark, mean streets of the Emerald City? NBC's like, maybe not, because they were successful with Grimm and other things. So they thought maybe.
It is interesting because NBC was successful with Grimm and the whole Once Upon a Time. It seemed last season the new fall shows they were trying to emulate that Once Upon a Time or Grimm vibe.
Fantasy.
With the fantasy.
Dark fantasy.
So that seemed to be NBC's foray into doing it. But notice that we haven't even talked about any of that from the other networks. So they've all
everybody dropped it.
They've kind of dropped it, and NBC finally, I think they realized, well, no one else is doing it. Maybe we should too.
I'm like, so what happens in season 2? Well, then the Munchkins come out, and I'm like, oh, geez.
Yeah, remember the Munchkin revolt of 07. That was terrible there. Rose up and threw gold bricks at everyone.
That's gone. The other mid-season show they have is something called Aquarius, which does look interesting, which has David Duchovny as a detective, sort of like around in the 60s doing, investigating and trying to infiltrate the Manson murders, which is sort of chasing Charles Manson. Very dark, very David Fincher feeling. It's a weird one because I think that they're very excited about the pilot and they're very excited about where this could go. But NBC is still kind of like, we love it, but where do we put it? So I think it may show up as a mid-season replacement in January. But that's something that is they have not cut that. They've left that. So that's not going anywhere.
And to be clear, all the other networks have mid-season replacements, but this one was more notable for us to mention right now.
Right.
Yeah, we just hadn't brought up any of the other mid-seasons.
But they do have some comedies, Joe. Tell me about what's this Marry Me and A to Z.
Well, let's talk about Marry Me first. This is to me, this is the one I'm looking forward to, because this is Ken Marino and Casey Wilson. Casey Wilson, you remember from Happy Endings, and she's
Love her.
She's done tons and tons of stuff.
Yeah.
And same with Ken Marino. What I love about this cast is Ken Marino goes all the way back to The State, and he's you guys, I don't know if you guys remember The State. You know, hey, it's anyway. He has worked so hard for so many years, and this is I think these two, if there's two actors in comedy that have truly earned a show, these two have done it. And I love what they're doing. It looks hilarious. It looks really centered. It looks really grounded. Basically, they've been together 6 years, and they went on this last trip. And apparently, the way the pilot is shaking out, she thought that he was going to propose on this trip, and he didn't until the very end. In the meantime, she has lost her mind. So she faces away from him as he drops to a knee, and she tears him up, tears up his mother, tears up his friends, tears him up, and he's on his knees the whole time. And I love this. I love this idea. I love the two actors in it. NBC has clearly put a lot behind it. They have them hosting their fall preview. They're talking up all the other shows on the network. I think this is the one NBC thinks is going to be a home run.
Casey Wilson's a star. I mean, she's great in Happy Endings, which is sort of prematurely cut. She is great in this new sort of web series that's a spin-off of kind of a send-up of the Housewives. I forget what it's called. She was on Saturday Night Live for a hot minute. She's funny. She reminds me of my good friend Arian Audible, actually. This Casey. I love her. She's so funny, and I'm rooting for her tremendously.
Well, not just that. I mean, there's a bunch of really good names in this too. Anyone who's familiar with the LA comedy scene might recognize some, or even Upright Citizens Brigade might recognize some of these names. Danielle Snyder, John Gemberling, Casey Wilson does come from UCB as well. Ken Marino is just fabulous in everything he does, and I just love him. It's really interesting. Not, ABC and NBC seem to be the ones that are focused a little more on comedies as far as news shows, and they seem to really like these romantic type comedies too. So they definitely have some high hopes on this one. It's got an impressive cast, so I definitely think it's worth a watch.
Okay,
absolutely.
What about let's go for
A to Z.
A to Z.
A to Z. Yes. What's that one, Joe?
This is a romantic comedy, and I think the romance is a little bit heavier, obviously, than what they're looking at with Marry Me. This is basically, we're going to follow this couple from the time they meet until their entire relationship. That's kind of the idea here. The concept is we're going to follow everything. And this is
a comedy.
It looks like it ought to be really sweet and really funny. This is Ben Feldman and Kristen Milotti, and Ben Feldman from American Pie movies, and Kristen Milotti, she was in oh gosh darn it, How I Met Your Mother. She ended up being the mother.
She was on Broadway.
Ironic because this feels a lot like How I Met Your Mother.
It's very similar. It's narrated by Katie Seagal, so it does have a very similar vibe.
Oh, so there's a narrator.
There's a narrator, so you're going to be talked through all this.
So
which I think the narrator device I really do like, because it gives you an opportunity to get to know the people without sometimes having expository scenes that are just irritating.
Is this a commercial for your profession, Joe?
Some of us who are voiceover actors
VO for a living. Like, I think the narrators
are
largely underrated in comedy.
I'm the narrator. Okay. But here's my point about that. If you do set up an omniscient narrator that does have some part in the show eventually,
what kind of narrator?
Omniscient.
Okay.
Then I think what you wind up with is you can cut the expository scenes, which I do enjoy, and you can get some more depth into the characters.
Sure.
So I'm excited about this show. I think it's going to be good. It's executive producers Rashida Jones, Will McCormick, and it's created by Ben Queen.
Well, good. I like Rashida Jones, and I like those folks, and there's some funny folks there. And I mean, just maybe wake me up when you get to like M. And like
I think it was
M in, and then
I thought this was a really cute. This is a very different type of show than Marry Me. Marry Me, I think, has a little bit more slapstick comedy. It's a little more, a little more like that. This is just more the rom-com. It has more of a How I Met Your Mother feel to it. I think that one concern I might have is just with Kristen Milioti. Just because she's a great actress, and she was so, when she became the mother, when she was first announced as the mother, it was a big media frenzy about her. Who is this person? Who is this person? People were trying to know everything they could about her. And she ended up not having a major role in the final season.
Show. Yeah.
And no spoilers here, but, but still. So I feel like in a way she's already been branded as the mother, you know, and I still look at her and I see there's a little bit of a Natasha Leggero look about her too, but
She does.
She does have a little bit about. At first, I thought it was Natasha Leggero, but when I realized it was her, I was like, oh, it's the mother. And I hope that she can break out of that stereotype because she is a phenomenal actress. But I think it's just all that media frenzy, all that that spotlight put upon her.
She had
when
a
she was
great
cast.
turn in Wolf of Wall Street too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh awesome.
Yeah.
She played
Okay.
the first wife. She did a
Yeah.
great job.
Oh my
actually,
God!
in
Yeah,
that.
she did. She's so much depth in that. That's a real good point. Yeah,
Yeah.
she was.
And she's a Broadway actress. She was in.
yes.
She was in Once, the
Yeah.
musical,
Yep.
which is awesome.
Which is.
I think it's
awesome.
going to be a good
Good
show.
job.
I think this will
All
be
right,
just
I know my
fine.
stuff.
All right, we'll see. I'm we'll see.
Skeptical and nasty, the terms you're looking for.
I'm not really bowled over by what's going on
Braswell
in NBC
is not
right
a fan
now.
of love. He's not a fan of love.
Doesn't like love,
NBC's
guys.
not really blowing
So
up my skirt right now.
you want me to smile, do you? Smile and feel warm?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not happening.
Tell me about Constantine. We got a couple minutes left.
Yeah,
We got
yeah,
about
let's
Let's talk about Constantine and State of Affairs.
All right, Constantine. Constantine's going to be on Friday nights along with Grimm. It makes perfect sense. Constantine is based on the DC Comics Hellblazer.
Yes.
And the lead character, John Constantine, he's like a street magician, and it's pretty much it's kind of procedural in the same sense that Grimm is. Not your typical CBS procedural, but it definitely deals with the occult. It definitely deals with the unnatural happenstance, and so he's a supernatural. That's a better word. Supernatural detective. So the lead, Matt Ryan, you may know him from Criminal Minds, Suspect Behavior. It's one quick season that it was around. Another notable cast member is Harold Perrineau, who people know from Lost. And here's what's really appealing about this, and I think it's worth watching. One of the writers for the pilot was David S. Goyer, who wrote the Dark Knight trilogy and a lot of great other stuff too. And then also the director for the pilot was Neil Marshall, who is known for a lot of his work on Game of Thrones.
The pilot looks freaking fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm a big fan of the Keanu Reeves movie, which has been underrated. That's also
Agreed.
that's been
I
a great
love
hit
that
recently.
movie.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about this. The pilot looks great, but I'm wondering if it's sustainable.
The movie is actually veers off from the comic book. So any comic book fans, this is going to stay a little more true. I think the one thing that's been a little bit of a controversy is the character in the comic book is bi, and they are making him straight. So I think there was a little bit of a controversy with the gay and lesbian community about that. But otherwise, it's going to be more or less pretty spot on from the comic book. By the way, Hellblazer, the character John Constantine originally came from Swamp Things.
Got it.
So just FYI.
Hot tidbit. And State of
And then
Affairs?
State of Affairs, I feel, is NBC's way of getting to is their version of Scandal. That's the way I look
Homeland.
at
A
it.
little bit of Homeland,
And a little bit of Homeland,
Scandal.
a little bit of Scandal in there. So it's Katherine Heigl's return to TV after her
Triumphant return. After her graceful exit.
After her graceful exit from Grey's Anatomy, which
Her
was
spectacular movie career.
and she did an okay movie career, but she's finally coming back to TV.
Which movie was okay? I missed that one.
Oh, there's a lot of mean.
Oh boy. Okay. So she plays CIA analyst Charleston Tucker, and she is working in the White House for the President of the United States,
What would she be?
who
Sorry. Let's come on.
who is Alfre Woodard. Alfre Woodard plays the President of the U.S. She is the first female black president, and so absolutely. So I think it's their version of Scandal. So
There it is.
So that's the best way to put it. NBC's trying to compete with that, kind of like CBS is adding to their Good Wife arsenal with Madam Secretary. This is NBC's way of trying to.
A lot of female leads. We're seeing a trend with a lot of female leads coming
Absolutely.
through. So that's
Right,
that.
ladies.
And that premieres November 17th, so we've got a while for that one.
And then last but not least, Julia, tell us about Bad Judge and Mysteries of Laura.
I have all the redheads.
Yeah, you're the all the redheads.
All of them. Okay, so starting with The Mysteries of Laura, which premieres September 24th on NBC, which is Wednesdays. I'm a little confused on this one. I'm going to be honest. From what I'm gathering from the trailer, she's this hard-nosed, brilliant detective on the mean streets.
We have a Bad Judge, so you're talking about Mysteries of Laura's.
I can do the other one first.
Bad Judge.
Bad Judge. Kate Walsh,
There
the
she
other
is.
redhead.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Who Joe loves.
I loves.
You loves.
I love
You know,
this
I
idea.
love her too, and so I really have high hopes for this show. The trailer did not hook me as much as I hoped, although it had some really funny moments. So the premise of this is that you have this wild child partier, maybe a little bit past her prime, plays in a rock band. Just, kind of a hot mess, but has a good time, and that's what she does by night. But by day, she is a hard ruling judge.
Get out.
It's true. It's so true. Perhaps a little bit. She has a reputation of being a little bit unorthodox.
Oh, okay.
From her post behind the bench.
She dispenses her own brand of justice.
She most certainly does.
I don't like your tone.
What?
I'll tell you what I think. I think this looks great. This looks like a lot of fun. It's not, I don't think it's supposed. We're not trying to save the world here. It's fun.
It's kind of like
comedy really, really well. She's really funny.
The thing with her too is, people know her first and foremost from Grey's Anatomy and then Private Practice. So she plays the drama really well, but she actually loves comedy. She is always out in the improv theaters here in LA. She's been on a couple of UCB. Yeah, she's great in Fargo. So she actually has a lot of comedy to it. And this show kind of is Bad Teacher meets Night Court.
Bad Teacher, Bad Santa.
Love it.
Yeah,
Bad
so that's the way I look at it.
Franchise.
Yeah.
I miss Night Court.
And it's an adolescent fantasy, let's be honest.
But I will say,
there's nothing hotter than the idea of there's nothing under the judge's outfit and she's going to be mean and punish me. That's some wonderful stuff.
I will say this comes from executive producers Will Ferrell.
Okay.
And Adam McKay and showrunner Liz Brixius, who's also the showrunner of Nurse Jackie, and she does really. I love Nurse Jackie, so she does good work with strong female characters.
Man, I'm all for the strong female characters,
contrasting
and
personalities.
female showrunners.
As long as they don't involve love.
Shut up.
Or making him smile.
So that premieres October 2nd, NBC, Thursdays at 9.
And last but not least,
my other redhead, Deborah Messing, whom I really adore. But then there's this show. So, like I was saying before, so she's like this brilliant detective, mean streets, New York, and she just can't seem to keep it together at home, is what it's looking like. She has this soon-to-be cop ex-husband. She has these unruly, crazy, rambunctious twins. She has these like Lucy-esque moments when she's in the home. So I'm a little confused if it's a cop drama or if it's a family drama, but is it a comedy? I'm not quite sure.
It's a hybrid. It's all the above.
Is that a thing?
It's what they're doing. And
Does
Deborah
that
Messing
work?
They just want to give Deborah Messing her triumphant return to NBC. She's created one of the great TV characters of all time in Grace. What's Grace's last name?
Adler.
Grace Adler. And now she's back as a tough talking cop.
Is she?
I don't know.
I want her to be so badly. I am her number one fan, and I really think if anyone can pull this off and pull it together, it will be her. But I'm just sensing a disconnect.
Okay, so now that let's just get out of here. Before we get out of here, we have ABC, CBS, Fox, NBC. Who wins? Joe, who has the best shows so
Fox
far?
Looks like they're running out.
Like
I think they're running out the best docket.
Okay, go ahead, Julia.
I am going to pick up. Wait, I'm looking at my list. Oh God, CBS or Fox?
Take your time.
I'm gonna go with Fox.
Okay. Shut up. What do you got, Nando?
I think for me, more of the shows that I want to watch are on Fox, but you just cannot go wrong with CBS. And like I said, they always seem to do really well.
Yeah.
And
Adam
they just
Secretary,
know what to make it work.
that looks so good.
Yeah. I got to go with CBS. Although I'm really excited. I'm really happy with ABC what to do. I'm kind of Get Away with Murder and Blackish are really sort of some standouts, but I'm really excited about what Fox is doing as well.
Yeah.
So, CBS, I'm sorry. So that's it. Thanks for joining us for this fall season preview of the networks. We'll be back and run through the cable fall TV preview stuff as well. Joe Flippo, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me on the Twitters at Joe Flippo, JoeFlippo, and my website is josephsanfilippo.com.
And Instagram.
You're there.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, but I don't know how to use it. Did I tell you the Instagram story?
Yeah, but you can stay after you.
Yeah, very bad.
Joe's on Instagram too, folks. And Julia, where can we find you?
Twitter and Instagram at my name, Julia Cearley, JuliaCearley.
Okay.
And you can find me at Nandovel, Nandovel, on Twitter and on Instagram.
And I'm Joe Braswell. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Joe K. Braswell. Thank you, Marissa Serafini. Thanks for joining us back, and we'll be back very soon with some cable shows. Thanks for joining us for our special episode. We'll see you later.
Woo. From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz
you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.